Hello there, good evening and welcome to Newsbreak Live from our studios here at Bemoan number 48 Sonica Street in Accra, and streaming live on Facebook at Pan African Television. My name is Stanley Kwabla Arku. Will bring you details of our stories shortly. Please stay with us. Bulletin is streaming live across some 46 African countries and some parts of Europe. My name is Stanley Kwabla Arku. Let's start with our very first story, where former president of Ghana and the flag bearer of the opposition National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, says a partnership between Africa and South Korea has the tendency to propel the continent towards reaching its goal and mines marks resources to increase productivity. The former president further stressed that Africa's enormous resources coupled with its labor pool would make it plausible for strategic partnership between Korea and the African continent to boost productivity and development.
And Africa still possesses more than 50% of the world's arable lands. And there's a demand for technology solutions in the agricultural value chain and agribusiness. A viable partnership can be developed for the provision of digital solutions in the production of both animals and crops. Africa is known to be endowed with enormous natural resources. And my own country, Ghana, has a significant endowment of gold, bauxite, manganese, oil, and lately huge quantities of lithium. And these are natural resources Ghana is blessed with. A collaboration between Ghana and Korea, for instance, could use Ghanaian lithium to build batteries for the EV revolution taking place in the world, which will be mutually beneficial to both countries. Again, Korea is a leading shipbuilding nation. Ghana has a shipyard built by our first president. It requires retooling and efficient management. A partnership between the Korean shipbuilding industry and our Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority, GPHA, can make that shipyard the sole provider of services to merchant and oil vessels along the coast of Africa from Mauritania to Namibia. There's also the opportunity for the introduction of feeder vessels along the coast of Africa to redistribute African produced goods and imported cargoes at a more optimal cost than is currently the case. The power sector also presents enormous opportunities for Korean investments. Africa has a huge unmet demand for energy to drive its economic growth. Korea has the technology and know-how in both the traditional energy sectors and the renewables. There is no better case for cooperation than this between our continent and Korea. Africa's comparatively cheaper cost of labor and growing markets makes a compelling case for business partnerships with Ghanaian and African businesses. Perhaps the most profound agent of Africa's transformation is going to be the African Continental Free Trade Area. The recent agreement on African Continental Free Trade creates a possible market of 1.3 billion people. This will make it possible to produce goods in one African country and export these products to other countries on the continent. To optimize the opportunities under the AfCFTA, it will be necessary for Africa to improve its cross-border infrastructure, such as roads, bridges, railways, aviation, and ports. These can be done on a build, operate, and transfer basis, and would greatly catapult the growth of the African economies.
Now, away from that, a former lecturer of law and veteran lawyer Sam Ajikojo has urged students of the Ghana School of Law to take keen interest in issues concerning diplomacy and international relations. Speaking at the maiden edition of Diplomatic Affairs and Foreign Affairs Forum at the Ghana School of Law, the veteran lawyer stressed on the requisites that constitute strong legal foundation for prospective lawyers and the need for students to know what's happened in other countries.
The Diplomatic and Foreign Affairs Forum, held under the theme Global Perspectives on International Relations and Law, is an initiative of the current SRC administration of the Ghana School of Law and aimed at providing a platform for students to meet one-on-one and exchange ideas with industry experts. A former lecturer of law and veteran lawyer, Sam Ajikojo, who was a guest speaker at the forum, emphasized on the need for students to know what happens in other countries, indicating that countries around the world interdependent on each other in various phases of life, and that their decisions and choices affected each other.
Now you see that international affairs is such an important topic for lawyers to have at least a glimpse of it. And then thereafter, as I said, they can build on it. I have had the privilege of doing international law for my LLB and also continued it in my graduate studies also to do international and international institutional law. And it gives you a wider perspective of the world. More so when you appreciate that no country is independent. Sometimes we read the word and say it's independent. No, we are not independent. Each of us is interdependent.
UN Resident Coordinator to Ghana, Charles Abani, intimated that international relations and law were intricately intertwined as they provide the foundation for the peaceful coexistence of nations and the resolution of conflicts.
It resonates indeed deeply with the challenges we face in this ever-changing world, where the intersections of international relations and law influence the course of our shared future. International relations and the law are intricately intertwined. They provide a foundation for peaceful coexistence of nations and the resolution of conflicts, enabling businesses to thrive and development to advance.
Also in attendance was European Ambassador to Ghana, Echad Razali, who took turn to deliver his speech while commending the Students' Representative Council of the Ghana School of Law for the pertinent effort.
As lawyers, you are very right, sir. It's not about the mechanics of the law, it's about the philosophy of the law. In the end, we have, adopted a common set of rules when it comes to human rights, so on and so forth. You mentioned intellectual property, trade, technology, and more now we are adopting a set of rules for climate change or to fight climate change, because then we realized that beyond some specific issues, there are an overriding consideration, which is making the relation and making a future for humankind possible, because climate change is not about the planet, it's about the ability of humankind to survive.
The Surinamese ambassador to Ghana, Excellency Fidelia Grant Gallon, lamented the seeming lack of interest by African students in the history of international relations, especially as it concerned the slave trade. According to her, she has seen many students from other countries, including the Netherlands, the United States, and Belgium, who visit her country to study the history of the African slave trade, but was yet to see any student or lawyer from Africa on a similar quest.
I used to be very loud. I used to go to the pen and write to the papers. Why? Because there were activists during the African slave trade. and they overcame. The Africans that crossed the ocean to the country called Suriname that no one knows here. So whenever I go to places, they ask me where Suriname is, if it is in Africa. Especially when they look at me, because I look like a Shanti woman, an Ewe woman.
United States Ambassador to Ghana, Excellency Virginia Palmer, also affirmed the need for the students to prioritize international relations while championing the area of study across the globe.
I also think that access to justice is an incredibly important part of what we do as diplomats, and important to the economic health and democratic health of your country. And I mean that because you can have brilliant laws on the books, but if people don't know about them, they are invisible or irrelevant. So work that you do to ensure that poor women have access to justice and get some legal counsel when they need it, or that circuit riding judges are present in villages, can mean that good gender-based violence laws have some effect.
The Forum for Students was an excellent platform as well as a unique opportunity for them to engage in insightful and thought-provoking discussions on the role of diplomacy and foreign affairs in the world.
Now, some residents of Santo, a suburb of Ashaiman in the Ashaiman municipality, want roads in the area completely fixed. According to them, the poor state of road is making life unbearable for residents in the in and around the enclave. There's more in the following reports.
African news, some motorists and drivers bemoan the bad nature of the road. The situation, according to them, is affecting human and vehicular movement.
In fact, we are facing big challenges in our community because of our roads. We are suffering a lot. So if the government can come to our aid to help us construct our road for us, it will help us a lot, because our businesses are down because of our poor roads in the community. Our women, our women are market women, but because of our roads, when it rains like this, they don't have access to. From here to Ashama, it says a short distance, but because of the poor road, we don't have access to Ashama when it rains, especially when it rains. You will see here and there water and whatever. So we are pleading to the government to come to our aid by helping us constructing our road for us. It was fixed for a long time. It's not fixed. It's only the gutter, and that was NDC time when it was given to a contract. So as the change of government came, they stopped the work. Up to now, they are not working on the road anymore. So it's a big problem for us in the community. We are facing a big problems.
You would know 206 abepem sable. Why no say that here. Maybe a chum who say contract be baso so more ya kwano. Now mo de o sabe kan kakana mo ye de mo ja to ho. If 206 abepem sable no. Say de hu kwano sa na ye hu abepem sable. Why ufa Santo say ko Medina. And I say so kwa Amai. Now Medina kwano fi akwade moto kura yintimi fam paso. And na to car enti se omo ye kwan ma ya beboa ye car kese e na fa ni car bebre fa bai efi car na car du ha this was sign na chi e be asan kwa Amai kwan e ya block nsu aye ho ma enti omo ye kwan ma ya e beboa ye pa enti esram panyimfo se omo ye kwan ma ye
kwan ya fa so de kwan yam work and can send over ya because at 2 days we are your shop. And I wash up, sir. I am to spare party at no word. I've been in 15 million, 20 million, for Yapono. To do Chasuka Crab, my grandma or see a flatter. You would matter. Ya managing a Kakra. So that's here. Sana, Yamano. No one, I should drivers see a water Kakra. Uncle Funoya, what banner, where I say, obey you a cross, to get us up to 1 hour bus. No more. I'm going to shed and throw away the end use money. The Bia cast near, as I said. Cowan has some free, the Bia, problem, say your cast, almost at your Seneca, more cast. Because we're rude near the and your papa. Well, my car, maybe I register no. Maybe I register you, man. I want would drive and would you be? But I want car will not back in the car if you see.
Santo is located in the southwest of Ashaman. It is about 32.767 meters long. The road links to Medina, Ashaliboche and its environs. For Pan-African News, and Irabuna Frimpong's report.
But still on deplorable roads, scores of residents and motorists within Ajikojo in the Tema West municipality of the Greater Accra region have decried the bad nature of roads in the area. According to them, the road for several years has been left in a deplorable state, affecting socio-economic development. My colleague Irabuna Frimpong picked their thoughts and came through with this report.
News, resident and motorist says it is difficult to reach out to the town because of the deplorable nature of their roads. The angry residents could not fathom why appropriate authorities are not showing concern to their plight after several years of neglect. According to them, the road that links Santo, Medina, Boche and its environs has become very dusty with gaping potholes. They say the bad state of the road is affecting their daily activities. They further threaten to advise themselves if government fails to come to their aid.
Where the yes, Remo, the surrender to me. Sakaway. And no more near Betriso. Ye great Kakrani Jai. Said the Hono, oh, what's it through? I saw manhole. Service galam say cranny to why you need. Well, Sabio. Oh, bar, our fair frupa. And I said, what the fuck I wish out. May Kenya me say, I deal with a party of phone. Now, Sabi, ye names are Sabi, Ghana for no. I hear a business because MPI, the end of the war, Carlos, Emisa Hane and Senasi. Because on Uncle Seneca Simple, and Amai was a Hano, or Nimsa Hakatama West. Into the Asra by a pa. So Sabi, Yasuaka Ghana for her and your Monkai. Now, can't wait the Amway. Yanti Crusade. And Crawford Tehano, Sabi, a dorsal pa. Nanso, Yankai and Kenipam. It's a kind of dear. Say a quite full pa. A quite wake up. I want crime, and you crab a deal. I am crime my money. Come on.
You're quite from a Hakosan City, and you could tell me now, Annie Santo. Quite in yet, instead to say no, and to me, Quiduma. Private cars in the Broma Pacom cars because of Sunday Quine Yano. And to the pa by nature, Mumbajan by Amai. Tama, I could forward over Babeshe, damp Bakua, how more Yeduma. And I do not more great quine. More great quine over fast. And Chebia Quine, as I said, and to do this time, you know, to me, Quiduma, Ubon, Qualan, you know, Mujina Quansano Pano, Yabacabano, Natamaco, and to your Pabani to a Mumbadino Mubaya Bredo. Quine, Sisia, Soccas of a Sine, will links a new win, you know, Ubacobasiana, just a wasisa. And Tama, ya brepa, waha, the pebble, ya bre, and to Mumbadina Mumma Benus, because no Mubaya, no, ya and Pesica one in China. You was so on year. Now, so young and to me because to say, oh, your friends are pregnant too, and on to make a crowd for a crowd saying, on to me, to this away and a crowd dinaco. And to know, a Mumbama dino Musha.
And every way there, out there at the bridge, Hannah. I want a shaman, Hannah, over there. Yan Kangana for home. Oh, and yet, yes, Roman Penny. On Monday, I'm pissing, no? Constituency is no more one. Oh, Mama Diana, I'm visiting Rooster, Amai, Shakaway, ever go to Medina. And so,
a visibly worried resident who also shared the same sentiments blamed government for neglecting the area and pleaded with authorities to, as a matter of urgency, come to their aid.
I say, as you leaders, you know, Sabe, yeah, you SS and as a young school, I say, you as you leaders, a woman, because what do you mean, Ganjan, I remember to Obama, and I taxpayers' money, me pocket money, fire crime, so this is my power show. Okay, why you easily gone? I want to how much and I want to go on Unipa. But me, I quite to remove ahead and I say, it's other dinner and a busy moon to me and through my and I'm only overhead and so far my If you car into me going to mouth. Obu do fia sama ji so mu si wa ha no mo cross motorway so ya say car boy free driver anya na hwe enti corona tra be bia e wo say mutumi ye footbridge bi ma omo no mutumi ye dey cross ko e kwa yin ufi ayi elenkitu Medina I don't know so onima fi e ko Medina e short road o fi e ko Medina e short enti e kwa kakra bi a mo betumi ayama ye mo nye hwe committee 12 eba carbon higher no say mo ye ekwan e cross over heavy friends e cross nsuo yi e ko se say out tema na so also pese o ba asama na so ko ayinwa Teshi ne sprinters one go far beach road a wa be fa asama na wa be di traffic ni wo bra mo betumi aye short ekwan short committee 10 e dey across sprinters mutimi nye enti aye nim say leaders na born o ma bon say sabi jimie bi na ye leaders no omu nim nyansa sa na me hu no say ye aya nko school no ye nim nyansa say ye leaders because me am nko school me class enye kwan we ke kwan we omo say omo ba ba ye nye ne two parties ni ye nyomo I was so mu nyina ye pam omu fi so ye nye obia o ma we I was say ye class ye timamufo no I was say ye nyansa o ma we me hu say yes NDC and MPP omo mo I was say ye clear omu nyina.
Ajikojo is a town in the Tema West constituency in the Greater Accra region of Ghana, sharing a boundary with Ashaman, Madina and Ashali Buche. Reporting for Pan-African News, Annie Rabna from Pons Report read to you.
The residents of Teshi in Accra have issued a 2-month ultimatum to government demanding the rehabilitation of all deplorable inner roads within the community. According to the residents, deteriorating condition of roads at Grenada Estate, Tribolo, Teshi La Scala, and other areas is severely impacting their daily commute, necessitating an urgent action.
Residents have already submitted a petition to the Chief Priest of Teshi, Numo Bedu Odan Odiapense I, highlighting the poor state of their roads. Additionally, they have submitted a similar petition to the Municipal Chief Executive for Lejokuku, Mordecai Kwashi. Frustrated with the lack of progress, they have expressed their intent to organize another protest if their roads are not rehabilitated within the next 2 months. Speaking to the media, leader of the group, Metal Nuno Jr., called on government to, as a matter of urgency, fix the road. He further gave government a 2-month ultimatum to have the road constructed or face their wrath.
Municipal Chief Executive, if you are asleep, wake up. Don't sleep. If you are asleep, wake up. So, boy, this is our way. We are giving you 2 months ultimatum. If we hear nothing, the Constitution gives us the right, Article 21(1)(d), to embark on civil demonstration. The Public Order Act 1994 gives us the right. 2 months ultimatum, and you hear from the people of Teshi.
Responding to the protesters, Municipal Chief Executive of the Lejokuku Krowa constituency, Mordecai Kwashi, said the government of President Akufo-Addo does not need the ultimatum of the people of Teshi to have their roads fixed. He believes that the road cannot be fixed in 2 months. Mr. Kwashi, however, stressed that work is currently ongoing on the road and the government will not relent on its effort to have the road fixed.
Akufo-Addo doesn't need your ultimatum to perform. I've told you that we've given us 4 major projects in our municipality. And these are roads. Before last week, a contractor was giving our roads. These roads are being done now, right, as we speak. Work is going on as we speak. It's a big project. The guy won't be at one location all through the project, but the project is ongoing and we will not relent. The contractor will not leave until these 4 roads are done. When these 4 roads are done, we will all know the 4 roads are done. The cost, I can't give you the cost now, but the roads immediately deemed for construction are around 16.9 kilometers. But as I said, be that as it may, it's fine. All is well that ends well.
Member of Parliament for the area, Benjamin Ayikunati, disclosed that he has been assured by the contractors that a road will be fixed in 6 months. He further called on the youth of the area to exercise patience.
I believe the youth of this community will exercise patience and will keep on watching. The work is going on. Within 6 months, most of our roads will be fixed.
In their quest for improved roads, the residents took to the streets on Tuesday, May 30th, 2023, demanding their fair share of development resources. Some of the inscriptions on the placards displayed by the demonstrators read, "Our roads look like Galamsey sites. Potholes endangering our lives. Mr. MCE, what are you doing about our roads? Bad roads. Our side chicks don't visit us anymore," among others. Some of the notable roads which they say are in bad state include Teshi Estate Road, Zongo Junction Road, Adum to Greater Estate Road, Kwala Street, Adblazar Road, Mate Chulu Road, among others.
Now, away from deplorable roads, the World Health Organization is appealing to the government of Ghana to help tobacco farmers switch from tobacco farming to other alternative farming. The appeal was made by Dr. Angela Akon while delivering a speech on behalf of the country director of the World Health Organization at an event to mark the World No Tobacco Day.
World No Tobacco Day is commemorated on May 31st annually to emphasize the harmful effect of tobacco products on people's health. According to the World Health Organization, tobacco is grown as a cash crop on an estimated 4 million hectares of land in more than 125 countries. Given the state of the global food supply today, tobacco is grown on the small amount of arable land that could be used to grow more food crops. It is at the backdrop of this that the World Health Organization is calling on government to help tobacco farmers switch from farming the cash crop to other alternative forms of farming.
Government should support tobacco farmers to switch to alternative crops by ending tobacco growing subsidies and using the savings for crop substitution programs to improve food security and nutrition. Shifting from tobacco to nutritious food crops has the potential to feed millions of families and improve the livelihoods of farming communities in Ghana. Such initiatives will also combat desertification and environmental degradation, raise awareness in tobacco farming communities about the benefits of moving away from tobacco and growing sustainable crops, and exposing the tobacco industry's efforts to abstract sustainable livelihoods work in the African region. We would like to appeal to the Ministry of Health and stakeholders to step up the implementation of Articles 17 and 18 of the WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, the FCTC, by enacting legislation, developing and implementing suitable policies and strategies, and enabling market conditions for tobacco farmers to shift to growing food crops that will provide them and their families with a better life.
Executive Director of Vision Ghana, a civil society organization, Labra Musa, also charged government to redirect proceeds from tax collected on tobacco to support campaign against the use of a product.
It is time for the government and all of us to prevent the people from a deadly industry that takes nothing but to destroy lives and harm the planet in service of its profits. Number two, to protect us from the industry's long decades attempts to deceive the public and their recently false claim of harm reduction. I repeat, harm reduction, and the so-called smoke-free world that they are propagating, even as they continue to market their false and illicit and dangerous cigarettes to young people and children everywhere across the globe. Number three, to earmark a percentage of the currently passed tobacco taxes to health and development.
But the Chief Director of the Ministry of Health, Alhaji Hafiz Adam, who addressed the gathering on behalf of the minister, says government has put in place policies and programs in addressing concerns raised in the fight against the use of tobacco in Ghana.
We have listened to the professionals and we have taken note of all the concerns that we have raised. The confession I have is this, that when the minister arrived and I informed him that I was coming for this program, He said, Chief, it's good you are going for this program. At the World Health Summit, which has just ended, Ghana chalked a lot of success in this area. And so he said we are going to roll out new policies, strategies, and programs to ensure that we have a tobacco-free society. So that is the confession, the promise that my minister gave me.
The event was climaxed with a debate by 3 basic schools in the Ayawaso district. The schools include Nima No. 1 Basic School, Site Kizito RC Basic School, and Institute of Islamic Basic School. Nima No. 1 Basic School at the end of the competition emerged winners with an award and a certificate of participation presented to them. This year's celebration is under the theme, "We need food, not tobacco."
That's rather staying on a sad note where celebrated Ghanaian playwright and former Education Minister Professor Amai Adio has passed on at age 81. The sad news happened in the early hours of Wednesday, May 3, 2023. The family of the icon has, however, confirmed her demise after a short illness in a press statement. Here's a short profile of the prolific writer.
March 23, 1942, in Aberdeenshire, Ghana, Prof. Amai Adio gained international recognition for her novel Our Sister Killjoy and her play Anoa. Her literary prowess extended beyond fiction, encompassing poetry, drama, and essays. Adio's plays include The Dilemma of a Ghost, produced at Legon in 1964, first published 1965, and Pittsburgh in 1988, and Anoa, published in 1971 and produced at the Gate Theatre in London in 1991. Her works of fiction particularly deal with the tension between Western and African worldviews. Her first novel, Our Sister Killjoy, was published in 1977 and remains one of her most popular works. It is notable for portraying a dissenting perspective on sexuality in Africa and especially LGBT in Africa. Many of Adio's other protagonists are also women who defy the stereotypical women's roles of their time, as in her play Anoa. News of her passing has elicited an outpouring of tribute from fellow writers, scholars, and admirers of her work. Many regard Amai as a trailblazer who fearlessly changed societal norms and paved way for African women writers. Her literary legacy will continue to inspire and shape the landscape of literature for generations to come.
May a gentle soul rest in peace. Now let's go ahead to other stories where Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Association of Industries, Chonam Akbalu, has called on government to reconsider the calibration of taxes, VAT at the ports. He believes the taxes needed to pay at the ports are too high for members of the association to endure.
A successful continental free trade agreement to occur, you need 3 cardinal things. Number 1, e-commerce. Number 2, logistics. Here we are gathered here because of the logistic components of things. The logistics is very important because when all said and done, our industries have been able to produce, they need to be able to move the goods and services to market. And now that we're trying to build Ghana houses in many countries, in Kenya, in Egypt, and all of that, it was important to identify a logistic mechanism where we can not only store the goods but also transport them to those countries. So it is important for AGI to partner this strategic initiative to ensure that our members have access to the space they need for warehouses to be able to save their product and export them. But it's important to reiterate that in all of this, the interest of the SME, a Ghanaian SME, should be promoted at all times. As we mentioned in the hall, the taxes you need to pay at the port are becoming increasingly too high for our members to endure. We import most of our raw materials from abroad. When you are importing the raw materials, you are asked to pay VAT. After you finish producing the product also, you are also asked to pay VAT. So it's almost like double taxation, we're asking for government to reconsider the calibration of the tax and the VAT and ensure that raw materials coming to the country do not attract taxes. We are also asking for a total support for indigenous businesses.
Away from that, prices of petrol and diesel are expected to stay at the same in the first 2 weeks of June 2023. However, the price of liquefied petrol gas is expected to decline by roughly 5% during the same period.
The Institute for Energy Security. This follows the Ghana cedi strong performance on the domestic forest market during the last 2 weeks and the drop in the price of LPG on the international market, though international prices of the liquid products shot up. The ex-pump prices as observed by the IES in the second pricing window for May 2023 fell at an average 3% for both petrol and diesel, with most oil marketing companies selling the two products at the same price in the window. The IES monitoring of various OMCs during the pricing window under review finds the national average price per litre for petrol and diesel at 11.90 Ghana cedi and LPG at about 13 Ghana cedi per kilogram. The price of Brent crude oil continued trading below $80 per barrel in the last 2 weeks. The average price per barrel over the window traded at about $75.90 per barrel. Analysts have indicated crude oil prices have touched multi-year lows on several occasions.
Well, that's all we have for your news break here on Pan-African Television. Please do want to follow us on all our social media platforms at Pan-African Television across the world at www.panafricantelevision.com. My name is Stanley Kwabla Arku. Thanks for your company.
But me, I've still not got the money for that list of.
Truly African.